all be involved in, or the
Mhm.
majority would be
And
involved in?
that's primarily why I'm bringing it forward.
Okay. Okay. We already took care of number 3, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, number 5 tells when we have to get competitive prices. Is everybody okay with putting $2,000 in that second blank?
I guess you gotta put a number in there somewhere.
Well, I'm
Which
putting
number
that-
1 up here says non-emergency, expenditure in excess of 3,000, but down here it says whenever feasible purchases or expenditures in excess of 2,000, so
But this is for quotes. Anything
we
2,000 or
wouldn't
more.
we wouldn't be getting a quote on number 1.
Yeah, because it's over 2,000.
It says 3,000.
Yeah, but since it's over 2,000, we'd have to get quotes.
Well, if it's gonna require our approval, one of the first things I'm gonna say is, let's bid it out, which is covered in number 5. That's why we need to take our time with this.
Okay.
Is this draft, is this what has come forward from our, what we presented to the attorney? And this is what his recommendations are?
His recommendation was that we do something like this.
Like that.
Yeah.
But he did not, in the email I got from him, he did not have any dollar signs.
No, he didn't. I put the dollar signs in.
And you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, I just put something down. The other thing that's in number 5, on items 2,000, getting bids, no formal bid is required. However, a record of price comparisons must be documented and permanently maintained by the district. I thought that was an important thing to put in there. And then it goes on to tell what that can include: screenshots, invoices, estimates, proposals, so on. Anybody have any comments on that?
What? Has his hand up. Oh, no.
Well, it's not public comment, but go ahead.
Yes, and I do appreciate that, sir. One thing I would suggest, if you get a chance, take a look at what's called the Local Government Reverse Auction Act. And it provides a mechanism where you can put out what you're wanting online, and people see what they bid, and it drives the price down. So if you bid $100, Mr. Fox may bid 95, and you may say, hey, I can do it for 92. It's called the Reverse Auction Act, and allows the price to be driven down to competitive online and real-time bidding.
Okay, what was the first part of that?
Local Government Reverse Auction Act is a valuable tool that drives the price of goods and services down, and very few people are using it, but it's a great mechanism that can be utilized.
Good, thank you.
Who maintains this site, do you know?
That's up to the public body.
I'm sorry?
That's up to the public body.
Okay,
It's
so,
all spelled out in that statute on how that works and what the requirements are.
okay, number 6 is basically the state law as far as getting sealed competitive bids. So we can't change that part. I added at the bottom, as an alternative to the competitive bidding process set forth above, the district may enter into contracts under the Governmental Joint Purchasing Act. Additionally, the Board of Trustees may enter into contracts for supplies, materials, or work involving expenditure in excess of $20,000 through participation in a joint governmental or non-governmental purchasing program that requires, as part of its selection procedure, a competitive bidding, solicitation, and procurement process.
And this is the part that the attorneys at the IAFPD conferences tell us, advise us, all of us as boards to tread very carefully.
Okay,
As an example, there was a comment made at some point in the past about getting fire truck bids from the state of Illinois. Well, that doesn't work
no,
because the state of Illinois does not buy fire trucks.
correct.
You can buy a cab and chassis state bid, but you cannot buy a fire truck state bid.
Okay, the non-governmental program is what we use when we purchased our truck at HGAC. They bid fire trucks.
Yes.
So,
And
and,
we had several competitive bids available to us that were lower than the truck that we bought. But
but whether we could
water
get
under
what
the
we
bridge.
right, whether we could get what we wanted, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's not what you want, it's what you need.
we're just going to have to talk more, have things more open before we get to that point. And, you know, I think we can make all of this work. As far as it being legal, obviously before we buy something like that, our attorney's going to be in there and hopefully he can make it legal.
Mhm.
So the dollar amounts that we talked about, I'm going to talk to David about combining 2 and 4 and see how that works out, and we'll come back with something to look at. As soon as I have something to look at, I'll email it, we can discuss it next month. Is that all right?
I make a motion, we table the purchasing and expenditure policy until next month.
Did you want him to combine 1 and 5 too?
I think we ought to take a look at 1 and 5, try to streamline things a little bit. Because like I said, the first thing we're gonna do as a board, I'm gonna ask for, well, can we get it cheaper somewhere else?
Okay.
How are we going to have an emergency purchase if we do not have,
I'm not talking about down here on 5, John, I'm
No, I'm
talking
talking
about
about
number 1,
number 2.
where it says non-emergency purchase.
I'm asking about number 2, I'm sorry. An emergency purchase or expenditure in excess of $3,000. How are we
Well,
going?
here's, if you give me a minute, John, I'll clarify it for you. If we combine 2 and 5, we would be bringing the language from 2 and 5 together to streamline the process.
And
Nobody would be saying that emergency would be left out.
I think what,
I understand that.
he hasn't gone any further, but I kind of have the same question. If we can get together and make a purchase, it's not an emergency. It's an emergency when we cannot get a board meeting. Then we have to have something to fall back on where we can get this crisis taken care of.
Well, my argument is that in 48 hours, we can get 3 people together.
If it can wait.
Yes, what if though? That's what I'm trying to say.
No,
What
if,
That's a pretty big what if.
Well, but it is a what if.
Well, that's,
I mean, if you're out of town, I'm out of town,
I'm never out of town.
but,
okay. All right,
yeah,
Seriously, I never go anywhere.
okay.
I'll talk about it with David.
Yeah, let's talk about it, David,
Yeah, okay.
because we don't have to hash it out tonight.
No,
we're not-
no,
yeah,
I-
there's no way.
And that's the whole point. We got time to talk about it.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
No. Just make sure it's on the agenda for next month.
Intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Rochester, presented by Phil Surdick.
Greetings. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I actually came, asked to be on the agenda so I could come and share great news. I didn't find out until this afternoon that our attorneys might have different ideas of what great news looks like. So we'll have to get them to hash that out. So ultimately, what the whole idea was, John Archer and I have been talking, 3+ years, about these tornado sirens. The village is now in a situation with the TIF district that we would like to help. I know 3 of them are working partway. We've talked about even adding a 4th one with the growth kind of going out to the east. We've discussed a placement for that 4th tower could potentially be on the village property, so it would be a non-cost thing. So while we were doing our budgeting, that came up for conversation, and since we didn't really have any numbers of what it's going to cost to repair and get all 3 of the existing ones working, and what it would cost to put up a 4th one, a number got thrown out, and that's where it is. So $15,000 is what the village would like to help the fire department with the tornado siren. As far as getting the 3 existing ones working properly would be probably the top priority, and then we can go on with the 4th one as that comes. I think there's some confusion between the attorneys, and that's up to them to hash that out. I don't pretend to be an attorney, but the whole idea was to try to have some type of a joint effort, and the TIF district actually allows the village the means to do that. And so I think that part was a good part. Like I said, we'll have to have the attorneys hash out the rest of it, all the legal jargon, so everybody's satisfied. When we find out what prices come in at, as far as the repairs, and also what it costs to build a new one, then we can go on from there, which would be, it would have to be in our next budget year. We're just starting a new one, May 1st, so it would have to come out next May. But with the TIF district, there is that opportunity. So anyway, like I said, thought I was coming bearing great news, but they got put on a little bit of a hold this afternoon. So once the attorneys get figured out, then we can get it figured out. So the placement of a 4th tower, we have a spot kind of picked out. John and I have discussed, and so ultimately, like I said, it would be something that would be in a great location for new growth, for the new assisted living, for the apartments, for anything else that happens east of us. And so anyway, we'll look forward to seeing how they get this worked out. And but if we can get that taken care of, our hopes is that we can get all 3 of those tornado sirens back to 100%. So for an outdoor thing, our sirens are in pretty poor shape. The weather is just destroying them. So hopefully we can get back along. But anyway, that's all I have for you. I know you're not voting on it tonight, but I still wanted to come and throw that out there.
Okay, I'll go ahead. Trustee Ramonka, did you have any questions concerning this?
No, sir.
Trustee Bush, do you have
Yeah.
any questions?
Is the fire department's responsibility for maintenance of the tornado sirens?
The fire department actually owns the tornado sirens. The village has no hand in that at all. The fire department installed them, paid for them, they own them, and so they've always kept them up. They're getting some age on them, so they all need some type of repair. And so we're offering to help.
And then you'll be
Gary,
part of
did you have anything?
No.
Marty, do you have any questions?
Well, it's gonna be for the attorneys to hash out, but in here, I believe it's number 3, waiver of objections. Hereby waives forever any and all rights to directly or indirectly set aside, modify, or contest in any manner the establishment and administration of the TIF district or any amendment thereto. That sounds like we're giving up any ability to come to the TIF district or the village and say, hey, look, we got a problem.
Just for that agreement.
So this
It's just for that agreement.
this won't be binding on the original TIF
It
agreement
has
that
nothing to do with the original TIF
the
agreement.
district signed.
No, it does not.
Need to have that in writing.
It is specifically for that agreement.
Okay, maybe I'm not, since I'm not a lawyer, maybe I don't see it in here, but I don't see that in here.
That's what they're gonna have to work.
Yeah,
out.
that's what they're gonna, there's several things.
That's why we both pay them dearly.
Yeah.
Any other questions or concerns concerning the intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Rochester? Okay. The next regular meeting will be on Wednesday, June the 9th, at 7 PM, 2021. Have a motion for adjournment.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by trustee McBride, second.
Oh. Yes.
You're seconding it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you very much.